start with the opening statement from Coach, then take questions.
Number one, it's a tremendous victory for us. That was a hard-fought football game. Minnesota's a good football team, and well-deserving to walk in here at 8-2. Physical, they're tough-minded, they play the right way. I think our team plays the same way, and the credit that was given from the coaches there on both sides throughout the week was all warranted after that football game, because that's two very good football teams, in my opinion, playing against each other. And, the kids competed, they handled themselves well. The thing at the end, I'm sure everybody's going to talk about, but in the end, I think the kids really kind of handled that pretty good too. There was talking back and forth and didn't go past there. It was some other people that were well that could have handled it different, in my opinion. The kids did a nice job. It was a great victory for us. We're happy to get out of here and get the victory and move on to Penn State next week. But tough-minded group. Defense played extremely well. They did a nice job getting out of drives, being physical, taking care of their business. I was proud of them.
Questions?
Gary, Joel in the first half, I think it was 6 for 14, 44 yards, and threw that pick. But to start the second half, it looked like Andy put the ball in his hands. Were you surprised with that? And were you surprised by how he responded on that drive?
Yeah, it was good to see Joel, be able to get that done. I wouldn't say I was surprised. You make adjustments at halftime and you try to take advantage of it. It was tough sledding in the run game. There was 10 guys stacked in there, and those safeties will come downhill and they'll smack you. They're physical, tough-minded football players for Minnesota, and they were covering, fairly well. So we knew we had to try to mix it up a little bit with the play-action pass and get a little bit try to create a little bit of softness in that defense if we could. So I'm not surprised. Joel bounces back and has seemed to bounce back fairly well when he's made a mistake, and he got smacked around a couple times pretty good today and kept getting that back up and making some plays.
Gary, you looked pretty upset at the end. What were you most upset about with the stuff at the end by the goalpost?
Well, I mean that's the first time I've been around that. So I don't know what the whole situation was. I didn't get down until it was late, and we're trying to move the kids around, and I just don't think myself or you return around and reserve to get pushed out of the way. I mean, I don't think that's right. So whatever it is, it's not right. The kids, in my opinion, were not out of control. Do we want them down there? Do we want to get in those situations? No, we don't want to get in those situations. But if you're supposed to carry yourself like an adult in those scenarios, and I don't need somebody pointing a finger in my face when supposedly it's their job to take advantage of or to protect the kids and be the security for the stadium, I suppose. So yeah, it makes me mad because I think it's just not right.
Who was pointing a finger in your face, Gary?
Police officer.
It seems like a tradition thing to cut down the goalpost. I feel like they left out the tradition now that you couldn't get the goalpost down today.
I don't know that much about that part of the tradition, to be honest with you. I've seen it on a video. If that's part of the tradition and that's the way it's been, then I suppose both sides are aware of that and understand it. I don't know that, so I can't really answer that question. Exactly how the whole thing takes place. If it is part of the tradition, I guess it is. If it's not, then I guess we should stop it and figure out what we're going to do at the end of those games.
Do you know what happened exactly? Was it the Minnesota players just decided to
I have no idea.
You guys get to the
like I said, by the time I got done with the media, I walked down there to the goalpost, and there was, we were trying to get our kids out of there, and so that's all I really know. And then what I've already talked to you about.
Here you've been talking about turnovers all year. You had 3 forced fumbles.
Yep.
Could you talk about why that happened, and did it come at just the right time, given the
It did. The turnovers were huge in this game. And every possession was big in this game, and we got a couple opportunities to potentially try some field goals, and we got in the red zone. And Minnesota bowed up time and time again. I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me, but the amount of times that we got in to the red zone or close to the red zone, and we came out of there kicking field goals or missing a field goal or trying to fake that didn't work was very impressive for them. The turnovers were huge for us. It gave us an opportunity to get some points and get out of drives and kind of grind the clock there.
How nice has it been for you to walk into this program and have a guy like Borland kind of leading the defense and see the way that he performed today?
It's been awesome. He's a leader of the defense. There's a lot of leaders on that defense. There's a strong group of seniors. It means a lot to them to play. Chris is one of them. He's one of the highlighted guys, and he deserves to be. But there's a lot of You know, I'm not going to say unsung heroes, but there's a lot of other seniors around that defense that played a lot of snaps that this season was very important to. And, you know, my hat goes off to those kids because they allowed us to come in as coaches and get involved in their lives and, you know, coach them. And players make plays, players win games, not coaches.
Gary, did you think your defense was going to be this good this year? I mean, you knew you had a lot of seniors, but a new staff and guys in different positions. You guys haven't allowed a point in the last, a touchdown in the last 3 Big Ten games. Did you think you'd be this good this early in your tenure?
You know, I don't know. I thought there was some special players. I said it last week. You know, we came through spring, and so many of these young men were coming off surgeries or coming off injuries and couldn't compete against spring ball. So I don't think we quite understood how good they would be until they fit into the scheme. I don't know how good I thought we were going to be. I thought we could be very good because they were good a year ago on defense, and some good pieces of the puzzle. We had to really replace some people in the back end, and if you look at that crew, it's pretty amazing. You know, kid, junior college quarterback, recruited, walks in here, starting safety. You know, true freshman starting at corner. Darius had played nickel last year. He moves outside, and now he's playing almost every snap. Nate Hammond hadn't played, if any, defense, hardly any defense at all. Moose is the same way. So there's a lot of kids that are playing in that back end, and that was the challenge to put it together. You know, it's credit to the kids and, you know, Coach Bush and Coach Strickland and Coach Aranda for putting that back end together the way they're playing.
Gary, what was Joel's specific issue in the first half? And do you think you needed to maybe reestablish his confidence in the second half, hence the drive, the play calls on the first second half drive?
Yeah, I thought he was just missing a little bit, you know. Seemed like some balls were the one in the end zone. The kid made a great play and tipped the ball, but I don't think there was a focus on getting him refocused. I looked at him at halftime. I walked by him, and he looked good. Him and Kurt were sitting there discussing the halftime adjustments. And, but it was, you know, it was kind of his time. And like I said, he's done that time and time again. He wasn't off by a long ways, but he was off. You know, we're gonna bank on Jared catching that one ball most of the time. You know, that's kind of Jared's world. That doesn't happen very often to him. And there was a couple other ones that were overthrown and he missed. But you know, he's battling just like the rest of this team is.
You mentioned McAvoy. Dave has talked about his ability to gain ground and also because of his length. Is that what we saw today? Breaking up those 2 passes.
Yeah, the big one. You know, he broke well on the one, and you know, you can call that a pass breakup. I'll call that a missed opportunity. But it was a great opportunity to get his hands on the ball. And then the next one he made on the throwback was a tremendous play. Thank goodness he was 6'5" and got his hand on that football. That was a big time play for him.
How did the conditions impact your game plan, and how do you think your players handled it?
You know, I didn't see a difference from either side, either football team, as far as the kids dealing with the cold. You know, they looked fine out there. They were running around hard, playing hard. The kids were good on our side. It's probably worse on the coaches standing out there, but that was the coldest football game I've ever been associated with. I'll tell you that much. It was. Don't anybody tell you. I mean, that was cold. That was cold.
Did Melvin's fumble on his first carry affect his usage the rest of the game?
I would say it probably affected it at some point, but not later. No, you know, maybe for a couple series or so. It's going to happen sometimes. Melvin doesn't want that to happen, but I felt like he bounced back and made some big plays, and like I say, he was so close to 2 or 3 times hitting the big one there. But you can't just yank a kid out because he drops the ball one time. I mean, that's not good. That's not our style. He doesn't want to fumble. We can coach him, and hopefully he gets better. It doesn't happen to him again.
You talked about Borland a little bit. Is he just one of the finest in the nation? The way he's playing and big plays he makes over and over again.
In my opinion, for what I know, you know, and I'm biased, I think he's the best linebacker in the country, and I say that from a head coach's standpoint, from leadership to community involvement to the way he plays on Saturdays, to the way he leads the youth of our program. The young man's unbelievable. He's on the poster for a reason. Just let me say that. But he is. I think he's the best linebacker that I've been around. And, he's an unbelievable young man, and I think he's going to play this game for a long, long time.
What did you see in the resolve of all your seniors in this game, and just the importance to win this game for them?
Yeah, it was important. You could see that. This is definitely a rivalry game, and you can see that on both sides. This is when you get out there and there's 18, 19, and 20-year-olds competing on both sides of the football, and you get in these rivalry games, and I've had an opportunity to be in a lot of them. There's some extra juice, some extra fire that they play with, and I think you saw that on both sides, Minnesota and Wisconsin, without question. but it's important for these kids to win that football game, and we were fortunate enough to be able to get it done.
Gary, that first drive to start the third quarter, you faced a 3rd and 7, I think it was, and Waz caught that pass in the left flat wide open. If you're a defensive coordinator on the other side, are you expecting Waz to be an option on that one? I think he's caught 2 passes all year.
Yeah. I don't know that. I couldn't say that for sure what they would be expecting, but they're going to respect Waz. And again, it's a sound defense. Like I said, you're not going to have a guy running down the field free on these guys. They're coached well and they communicate well and they play hard. Speaking of Minnesota's defense, much like I believe our defense plays again, and so they're going to account for Waz every time. But that was a big play.
Did you expect the ball to go there in that situation? Would you have to run
no, because I was on the defensive headset, so I would have known if they were going to throw it, run it, what they were going to do. So I'd have been surprised maybe whatever happened on that one.
What were you trying to get out of the fake that you guys tried to execute? And when did you put that formation
Other
in
than the
this
first
week?
down?
Other than the first down?
No, we've had it in practice, and it's just one of those calls. You look back at it, and if we go up 4th and 2, we had some play action passes that were some possibilities. It's been tough sled in the run game. It's just a reactionary call by me, and we did have it. We've carried it for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's been in for 4 or 5 weeks, probably at least, and sure didn't look good today. So that one will be scratched off the play list for quite a while.
Is it nice to get Andersen a little more involved today?
It was. It's good for him. The wind is kind of hampered of it. You guys know that you get this time of the year and it's going to happen, and it's hard to throw the ball in some spots. But it was good to see Abby make some plays. Last week he was able to do it with his legs. This week he was able to do it a little bit more in the throw game, and he's a tremendous player, and we need him to make plays for us in the throw game to win.
Gary, Ohio State won today, so you guys can't go to the Big Ten title game. What do you say to your kids just as far as the remaining goals for you?
Well, they want to be a great football team, and when you're at 9 wins, you're real close to being a great football team. And they had set some goals and some want-tos to be what they wanted to be this year, and one of them was to play well in the Big Ten and get more wins in the Big Ten. They've been able to do that now. So we got 1 loss, we got 1 game left. They're 9-2. They're playing for a ton, and they're going to get themselves to a nice bowl game. We got another great challenge next week, obviously with Penn State. But these kids understand exactly where they sit. I never ever felt like, we're never going to get back to the Rose Bowl this year. We're not going to get to the championship game, and woe is me. Not one bit of it. They wanted to better their performance every single week and work to play hard every single week and play with each other. And now they're 9-2. So right now they're a very good team and verging on being a great team. And I'm not so sure they're not a great team right now.
What do they have to do to be a great team? What has to happen?
I don't know. I don't have that in my mind right now, but if the season was over, I'd probably say they're a great team, but I just don't want to tell them that yet. So. Thanks, guys.